And we had bought a day pass for, I don't know how much, $6.75 I think, $7, $6.50, something like that.
I don't remember. A day pass?
Yeah.
I thought it was like $2.
Okay, so I bought a day pass for $5.
Okay.
Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
Hey everybody, I'm Chris,
And I'm Chris.
and we are tripping with the Chris's.
Woohoo! Welcome back to our channel, everyone. We are going to tell you about our time in Eureka Springs and kind of give you what we enjoyed and what we didn't enjoy. What we recommend, what we don't recommend.
And we do have some do not do's. Or we have, oh no, we've actually got 2 do not do's.
Yes,
So, all right,
right?
let's go. Let's start off.
So the day we arrived, check-in is, at an RV park. It's usually kind of late, say noon, 1, something like that. Anyway, I'm not sure what time we got there, maybe around 1 o'clock, but we had some troubles hooking up. They had bad electrical legs, which we talked about all this at our review of the Wanderlust RV park. We ultimately ended up moving to a different site.
Which we talked about.
But all this took several hours. It was crazy. So it ate into our day, our travel day. So we were tired and just frustrated. We cleaned up a bit, and then we were with another couple. We jumped in the truck, and Chris drove us into town to eat. Mind you, this was our anniversary.
It was our anniversary. It was our anniversary dinner.
20 years.
And we had it with another couple that we enjoy hanging out with.
Yeah, we did the whole trip with them, so
Yeah.
it was a good time. But
Yeah, we had a great time with you, Bill and Denise. So I drive the 1-ton dually into town. Actually, we don't really go into town. It's on the outskirts, and we're eating at a place called
Emilio's Italian.
I will tell you, the roads are very small, and if there's cars parked on the side of the road, it just turns into a one-way road.
Yeah. There's no way 2 vehicles are getting down the road.
The awesome thing though is that when we get to Emilio's, there's a parking spot right in front.
On the street.
On the
So
street,
I
right in
jumped
front.
out and asked them if we could park there, and they said absolutely no problem. And there would be they said an hour and 15-minute wait, but there aren't any options that late in the day on a Monday. The town kind of shuts down early, and most restaurants aren't open 7 days a week. You big city people like us might be accustomed to. They just don't have that kind of option.
Nope. Before we went to Eureka Springs, Chris had already looked up restaurants to eat at, and this was one that she had found. But up at the office, there was a guy named Scooby, and when we were talking to him about options to eat,
The office at the RV park?
and when we were talking to him, he recommended going there to eat. He said definitely don't go to the Crescent Hotel and do not eat the pizza. So we didn't. We went here, and man, it was amazing.
It was fantastic.
Yep.
I had gluten-free, of course, because that's me. I had chicken Alfredo, and it was fantastic, and some wine. It was delicious. I really enjoyed the meal.
Yeah.
I think we had dessert too. Didn't I have a sorbet or gelato?
Yeah, and I had the banana or the bread pudding.
Bread pudding.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the one thing about this place, like Chris said, being gluten-free, is pretty much everything that they have is gluten-free, or they can make gluten-free.
Yeah, all their sauces, and then just throw it on gluten-free pasta.
Yep.
Also, like I said, we had been told the wait time was going to be like an hour and 20 minutes, and we went up on this deck upstairs. Let me paint this picture. It's an old house, like I don't know, early 1900s house, and they had taken the attic and enclosed it, made it a room, a space, and it was basically a bar and a sitting area, and then they built a deck off of that, which we sat outside and enjoyed our wine.
Absolutely.
Until
yeah.
they called on us. But it ended up only being about maybe a 20 to 30 minute wait.
Yeah, it was not a long wait at all.
No, it wasn't bad. So service was fantastic. Everything came out timely, cooked properly, and we just had a fantastic anniversary dinner.
Yep.
Highly recommend Emilio's if you go to Eureka Springs.
Yes, absolutely. I drove back to the RV park, not knowing how small the roads were and how steep they were. Not that the steepness mattered in the truck or anything, but they are very, very tight roads, and in a 1-ton dually, it gets really tight. So anyways, we get back to the RV park, and that was the rest of our night.
Yeah, it was kind of a roller coaster ride. We really had no idea how steep these roads were going to be.
Yeah.
And we were just following ways to get out of there, but we managed.
Yeah.
It was kind of fun.
Yep. So the next day we got up and caught the trolley. The nice thing about Wanderlust RV Park is the trolley's right there up at the street. There's 2 different trolleys. We caught the trolley into town, walked around just for a little bit because we had scheduled to go on a
tram tour.
Yeah, a tram tour around town.
So we had a little bit of time to kill, and we were kind of hungry because everybody ate a light breakfast back at the RV. So we didn't know what we were doing. We just headed down the street, and first place we saw was Main Street Cafe. So we jumped in there. It's like, I don't know, maybe 30 yards from the trolley station to get over to the tram.
And there was not a wait, and there were not very many people in there.
Yeah. So we went in and got a burger. I think we all had burgers.
And there's a reason why there was not a wait and there were not very many people in there.
Yeah, it was not good.
Yeah, I would find another place to eat. And that's
Yeah.
just us.
Yeah.
It just wasn't to our liking, so.
Yeah, it would have been a better choice for us to not even eat and go about our day and
Yeah.
then grab something else somewhere else.
Although maybe try the breakfast, because we didn't try the breakfast.
Yeah, maybe they're better known for that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It wasn't good. I don't recommend it,
No,
but we did it.
no. Anyways, after we got finished eating our meal, we went back up to the trolley station, and the trolley station was taking us to the tram tour. We got to the tram tour an hour early.
So like we had 45 minutes to kill.
Yeah, 45 minutes, 50 minutes to kill. So I'm like, I asked the trolley guy, I'm like, hey, can you get us back here in 45 minutes? He's like, yeah, no problem. So we rode the whole loop with him, which was great.
It was relaxing.
Yeah, it was a nice time. And we had bought a day pass for, I don't know how much, $6.75, I think, $7, $6.50, something like that.
I don't remember. A day pass?
Yeah.
I thought it was like $2.
Okay, so I bought a day pass for $5.
Okay.
We got back, we still had another 10 minutes to wait. And
But it was okay. It's real laid back there. The whole vibe of the town is laid back. There's no rush. It's small. Nobody's in a hurry.
no, Eureka Springs is a very artsy, artsy, craftsy town. Most all the stores have to do with food, art, or some kind of craft. Or there's a couple bars laid out as well.
Yeah, yeah. We jump on the tram. It's a 90-minute ride around town. We had a great guide. who grew up in Eureka Springs, and she gave us the lowdown, throughout the town, the history, and basically it was, I think, the Swedish people, immigrants that settled there, and they built the town to what they knew the homes to look like was like this little Swiss village. And so the homes are like little Swiss chalets built into the side of the mountain. And so basically you walk in top level and then you go downstairs and it's down the side of the mountain.
Yep.
So all the houses look like they're one story, but they're,
Or
two and three.
Yeah, 2 and 3 story.
Below the street level.
Yep.
So some of the highlights were the homes were really neat and the springs there.
Yeah, and the springs at Eureka Springs are a little different than the springs at Hot Springs. Eureka Springs are, they're just coming out of cracks in the side of the mountain, and the temperature's a whole lot cooler. In Hot Springs, the pressure pushes them through fissures, and it comes out at 147 degrees, somewhere around there. The ones at Eureka Springs, they come out in like 67, 72 degrees, somewhere right around there. And they were playing, I forgot how many there's a whole bunch of springs around Eureka Springs.
So it kind of started with the Indians. Some chief, his daughter had like some eye ailment and couldn't see well, and so he had her wash her eyes, bathe her eyes in this water, and she was cured. And so a lot of people felt like it was healing waters, and they would bathe in it, their legs, if they had sores, couldn't walk, whatever. I don't know that any of that is really true, but that's what they believed back then.
Yeah.
So we got to go out there and walk down into where one of these springs was.
Yeah, it was kind of like in a little bitty cave. So you walk back into the cave. It's nice and cool.
Mm-hmm. So there was that, and then another highlight of the tram tour was the Crescent Hotel, built in 1886, originally built as a luxurious hotel for the wealthy.
They've been here with their ghost hunting equipment, and it is known as one of America's most haunted hotels. But that's not all they do. I like to let you know they're also a wedding destination. They do over 300 weddings a year. So check out the Crescent Hotel. You might want to stay in one of those haunted rooms like 218 where Michael fell out of the window. To each their own. We played up here as kids. I don't have any ghost stories. I guess I wasn't looking for them. My husband does. He worked in that kitchen out there when he was 17, and he said he watched the china just fly right off the shelf, go clear across the kitchen, and smash itself into the limestone wall. He quit that night.
It's one of the top 10 haunted hotels in the United States.
You can stay there today. I mean, it is a hotel. It's kind of circled back. It started out as a hotel. I think they went bankrupt. It became a boarding school.
University.
Yeah, and it went bankrupt again. And then in the 1930s, the late 1930s, a man, Dr. Baker, came in, and he
Paging Dr. Baker, paging Dr. Baker.
He claimed that he could cure cancer, and he came up with some cocktail that he would inject into tumors. And
spoiler alert, he didn't cure any cancer.
No, nothing worked for these poor people. And he actually had a morgue on site, and
that people would disappear, and he would take them to a different, he would take them down to his basement. He would do an autopsy on them,
mm-hmm.
then take the bodies to another morgue who would dispose of the bodies.
He would also, it was later discovered in 2019, actually. It's pretty recent. They were digging around in the garden area to extend the concrete parking, and they discovered all these bottles, and specimen jars, and even one of the jars had a liquid and something floating in it. And so it was thought when the place was renovated decades ago that all that was taken and disposed of, but it got dumped on the property. So now they've cleaned up all these medicine bottles and specimen jars, and
You can see them on the ghost tour at the Crescent Hotel.
yeah, they're little relics that they have on the tour.
And guess what they don't have going because of COVID?
Yeah,
The
it's
ghost
not
tour.
open, so
Yeah.
we couldn't do that.
We couldn't do it.
So we did go back to the Crescent, and we went up top, had a drink at the bar, walked around the grounds.
Yep, it's a cool spot.
Yeah, it's all pretty preserved for its original era.
And if I wasn't such a chicken, I'd probably stay there. But
The
it being that-
elevators are cool.
Yeah.
There's an old pipe organ there, and this fireplace is amazing.
But being that I don't like haunted anythings, I'm not spending the night. So
Well, we had our RV anyway.
Yeah.
So. But if you're interested, check it out.
yeah,
It's pretty cool. Pretty
Yeah.
cool place.
it really is. And the grounds are immaculate.
Yeah.
So
So after that, we went back to the RV, and our friends decided they didn't want to go to dinner. So we went back and ate at a place called Local Flavor. Food was really, really good. We enjoyed it. We ate way too much, but
the wait time to get your food was way too long.
yeah, the
For how busy it was.
service was extremely slow.
And it had nothing to do with the waitress. It all had to do with the kitchen.
yeah, getting the food out.
Yeah, getting the food. And I'm telling you, they were not busy.
We had plenty of time though, because like I said, it's a laid back vibe there. We did schedule a ghost tour after our dinner, and we just had to walk across the street.
Yeah,
So that's
we had
where,
to
that's
walk to the
meetup.
courthouse.
That's where we were meeting up for the tour. So we weren't in a big hurry.
No.
Oh, and actually, y'all, when we left the RV park, we were concerned again about the dually
Yeah.
in town, driving in town. So we called Uber. Get this, they have one Uber driver in the whole town. That's it. One.
And the cool thing is he's a really nice guy. Well worth it. Take Uber. You'll have the only Uber guy that's there, and he is there all the time. Mm-hmm. And he's great.
Yeah. So after we eat, we go across the street, and there's a guy there, and didn't he have like an old
He had a top hat.
top hat, and then he had like this lantern, you know, that like Bob Cratchit might carry or
Yeah.
something.
And he was our tour guide for the haunted,
It was a walking tour.
a walking tour of how haunted Eureka Springs is.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say it was a letdown. It was a big letdown.
It was more than a letdown.
It was.
It was first of all, it was $20 a person, and you walk up this. There wasn't even anything scary that I can think of.
No, he talked about
A bank robbery.
yeah, and how some guys were shot there on that very street, and you could still see a bullet hole in the building. Ooh.
He talked about the Crescent Hotel, but you can't walk to it because it's too far.
Right.
To walk.
We went in a building that it was like a shop, and they had let him go into like the lobby area,
And then you could walk down the hall
and supposedly there were ghosts there, but
and take a whole bunch. I didn't go. It was too. That's when it really started getting a little too hokey for me.
yeah.
Then after that, we went into their store, which,
His storefront.
well, it was.
Right?
It wasn't his storefront. It was the owner's storefront.
Right, but the
Yes,
people that
yeah.
were putting on the tour,
Yeah,
the
and
storefront.
then that storefront was. It goes to going down the street. There is underneath the street. There's a tunnel that goes down the street, and they are actually underneath where the funeral home was, that Dr. Baker was sending all his dead people, everybody he killed, he sent to that funeral home. They incinerated them and kind of spread the ashes out in this tunnel.
Yeah.
Well, guess what we got to do?
Catacombs.
Yeah, the
is what
catacomb.
Well,
They take us into this catacomb. Well, he calls it a catacomb, and it's not really a catacomb, because all they did is they found some dust particles that were human, because they knew the funeral parlor above them incinerated the body parts and bodies from the Crescent Hotel, and they spread some of the ashes in this tunnel that ran underneath Main Street. In no way, and then you walk into it and you're just like shaking your head, and you're just.
Well, I mean, it's what, 10 feet this way and 10 feet that way.
Well, they had it walled. They had it walled off on both sides, because now that the shops and stuff don't want people going up and down, so it's walled off. But don't call it a catacomb. A catacomb. It's not.
Well, the best part about it was the minerals that had leached through the ceiling and created these, what is it, stalactites that come from the ceiling.
Yeah, and you know what? If we're not right on the stalactites, then there's stalagmites. But I think there's stalactites.
Tights top? I don't remember. Anyway, there was that, and then they had inside his little office space or store space, they had these glass cabinets with these dolls in them, and they were all creeped out, painted up to look terrifying.
Pretty,
but it was so silly.
Now the only thing that they had going for themselves is they had little crystal shards on
crystals on like a chain,
and you hold it over your palm and you start talking to it, and the spirits make it go in circles and move and stuff.
And answer yes or no to your
and I will
questions.
tell you that I could make that crystal move like crazy. It was awesome.
Mine didn't move at all.
Yeah, mine did.
Because I was too serious about it. Chris was intentionally moving it.
Yeah. It was pretty funny.
Anyway, that might be something you avoid. I recommend if you're going to do a ghost tour when you're in Eureka Springs,
go to Crescent.
Do the Crescent.
Do the Crescent Hotel. We've heard great things about that ghost tour.
We really regret the tour we took and wish that we had gone to the Crescent.
Yeah, and I do know that there were some other people in our group that were shaking their heads on how hokey it was.
So after that, we walked back down Main Street and called up our Uber driver.
The one and only.
Yep, very personal.
Yep.
And he was there, Johnny on the spot, picked us up, took us back to the RV park, and there you have it, the end of our story.
Yeah. There's quite a few things to do around Eureka Springs that we didn't get to do. I would make Eureka Springs at least a two-day tour, because you have the church in the woods. It's made out of glass, and it's supposed to be phenomenal to go see. We didn't get to do that.
There's a lake there, supposedly, with some great hiking around it.
Yeah.
We didn't get to do that. We were only there a day and a half, and like I said, first part of our first day was eaten up with, RV troubles.
Yeah.
So, but I highly, highly recommend Eureka Springs. I would love to go back.
Oh,
and I know what
we
to
will.
do and what not to do next time.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll spend more than a day in Eureka Springs for sure. We'll at least make it 2, if not 3 days. Once again, and then also, Wanderlust RV Park has probably been our favorite park so far. Not that we've been to a lot of RV parks, but out of the RV parks, that's been our favorite one so far. And you don't have to drive to town. That's the awesome thing about it, is you can take the tram, the trolley into town, and the trolley will even take you out to the church and pick you up at the church. So.
Yep. So this wraps up our review of Eureka Springs. I give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, I'm definitely giving Eureka Springs a thumbs up. And like you said, we'll go back out and check it out. I'll link the Wanderlust RV Park up here. And don't forget to subscribe,
Like,
and ring the bell for notifications. And until next week,
take care, and be kind.
take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.